Hi there, fifth grade mathematicians. Here is your lesson for today. We're going to talk about the standard of MD2, which is displaying data on graphs. So our big question today is going to be what type of graph is used to best display different types of data. We can't use all the same graphs for the same data. Graphs have a specific purpose in the types of data that they display. So if you remember when we were in class, we were brainstorming different types of graph, pie charts, pictographs, line graphs, bar graphs. There's so many different types of graph, but today we're going to focus on three specific graphs. First, bar graphs. Bar graphs show a one-time categorical data set. It can be answered in words. When I think about categories, I think about different types, different groups. So when you look at a bar graph, you're showing a one-time only answer to a categorical or word question. Here's an example. This graph has the title up at the top, School Supplies That Students Use. Down at the bottom, labels the categories on the horizontal axis, pencil, scale, pen, sharpener, and eraser. Notice they're equally spaced at the bottom axis. Those are the types of school supplies. Then the vertical axis has the scale, the numbers to show how many of the school supplies the students are using. Notice the scale is the same, it's counting by ones. So I can easily see that pencil is the most commonly used school supply, 8 pencils are being used, and pen is the least amount, 2. It's a one-time categorical data. Here's another example, birthday of students by month. So if we were to survey the students in class as to when their birthday month was, you'll see the bottom horizontal axis has all the 12 months of the year. The vertical axis has the scale, this time counting by twos, and that's how many students have those birthdays. And I can easily see on this graph that June is the most frequent birthday month and August is the least frequent month. Our last example is a Skittle frequency bar graph. Frequency bar graphs, frequency means how many times it occurs. So if I were to open a Skittle pack, I would see that red is the most frequent bar graph. Orange and yellow are tied for the minimum frequency. So bar graphs show one time only categorical data. The horizontal or the vertical axis, the vertical axis at the bottom of the graph will always have words, examples of categories. Our next type of graph is a line plot. A line plot shows numeric data in a one-time survey. So it's always going to be just very similar to a bar graph, but it's going to have numeric data on the horizontal axis. So here's our first example. In this graph, we were asking children how many brothers and sisters they have. Notice the horizontal axis is now numeric, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It looks like a number line, and each X represents one student. So I can see the most frequent number of siblings is 2. Most kids in class have 2 brothers or sisters. Only 2 students have no brothers or sisters, and only 1 has 4. So it's showing numeric data on that horizontal axis. Here's another one. This is heights of second graders. It's a one-time only piece of data. Kids in second grade were measured, and each orange X represents a second grader. Only one second grader is 49 inches, but 3 second graders are 53 inches. Our last example is down at the bottom, and this is a score students received on a test. This must have been a really tough test. So the X's represent one student and what they scored on their test. You'll see one student scored a 43, where 2 students scored a 45. The next type of graph is a line graph. Line graphs are similar to line plots in that they have numeric data, but the most important part is that it shows change over time. Time is changing and the data is changing as well. Here's an example of a graph similar to the one we're keeping in class. This person is graphing the number of facts they got correct over a 4-day period. And you'll see the number correct is changing. I started on day 1 with only 3 facts correct, but increased to 15 facts correct by day 4. The greatest increase was between day 2 and 3, in which they increased 8 facts. This next graph is another increase that you'll see, and it's Russell's height at a 3-year interval. The time in this one is not by the day. If you look at the horizontal axis or horizontal axis, it's by years, and it's a 3-year period. You notice there wasn't much growth in the beginning of his age, but between age 12 and 5, there was a very large increase in height during a growth spurt. And then by the time he was 21 and 24, it leveled off, and there was little height growth again. The line graph is showing a change in height over a period of time. Now here's one more graph to show you the difference between a line plot and a line graph. Remember, a line plot shows a one-time snapshot of numeric data. In this case, it's hours that students are spending reading. So you can see 3 students spent 1 hour reading, 1 student spent 1 1/4 hour reading, and so on. This is a one-time survey in which the answer is numeric data, the hours they spent reading. The line graph, on the other hand, is showing numeric data over time. We're looking for a change over time. And this graph is showing the seal count at seal point over a period of years. So in 2008, there were 25 seals. You can see there was a decrease between 2009 and 2011 as the seal count went down. But then it increased again up to 45 seals in 2013. So the line graph is showing how the population is increasing, going up, or decreasing, going down. Okay, let's try a couple. What type of graph would you use for this data? If I ask the question, what is our classmate's favorite ice cream flavor? What would you answer? We would have categorical data, chocolate, vanilla, cookies and cream, cookie dough, all kinds of different flavors. So it would be categorical data, and it's a one-time only answer. So our best graph would be a bar graph. That's right. How many hours did each person in our class exercise on Sunday? Well, if I'm going to answer how many hours, that's going to be numeric data. I'm also asking multiple people, and they're going to answer one time only how much they exercised on Sunday. One day, one time only, and I'm answering in numeric data. The best graph to use to represent this data would be, that's right, a line plot. And last but not least, how many goals did I score in each game throughout the season? Now I'm only asking one person, myself, how many goals I scored, which would be numeric data because I'm going to answer that question in numbers. And I'm going to look at the difference between the number of goals I scored in each game throughout the season. So there's going to be multiple games and multiple answers. Did I improve over the season and score more goals per game? Did I decrease my goals and have a tougher time as the season went through? So if I'm looking at numeric data over a period of time, the entire season, then I must be looking at, that's right, has to be a line graph showing change over time. So now it's your turn to practice. Check the next steps on Canvas and make sure you bring in your assignment with you the next in-person day you have school. Do your best. Good luck.